TV.
Welcome to Great County Life. I'm JC Coutts.
And I'm Sarah Carmichael. On the show today, we are going to talk to Jen Wright from the City of Owen Sound about the Volunteer and Culture Awards. We're also going to talk to Layla and Evan from the Bruce County Museum about upcoming events. And Renee from the Owen Sound Animal Shelter will join us with an animal looking for a forever home, or animals. I've heard there might be a few fuzzy characters joining us today, but it is going to be a great show and we hope you'll join us. Now, March break is coming up next week. So that is one of the reasons we're going to talk to the Bruce County Museum, because they have a jam-packed schedule of stuff going on. Lots of great opportunities there for the kids. I know Heritage Place Shopping Center also is going to be doing some things with kids activities. They're going to be doing mini putt this weekend.
Oh, really?
Or next weekend, excuse me. They're going to have mini putt like in the mall, which I love. There's also going to be character visits, Luigi and Mario, and Bluey and Bingo, though I'm not familiar with who they are.
Bluey is a dog, I believe, but also not familiar. The other day, I was at a charity hockey game, and it was police and firefighters in Chesley, actually. It was Aaron Eldersley, and there were characters from Paw Patrol there, and I was instructed to go and stand next to Sky, and I went, "What's a Sky?" And they went, "It's Paw Patrol, don't you know?" I was like, no, I did not pay enough attention to that when the niece and nephew were over.
I know that there was a fire truck car or dog. There's a firefighter dog named Marshall.
Okay, that sounds right.
And then there is, I think Sky is the pilot, because he's up in the sky.
Sense.
And then there's one that, I don't even, you can tell we don't have young children.
There are parents watching this right now going, I wish I didn't know those things, but I know all of it.
Right, yeah, but definitely lots of opportunities next week for different events for the kids. Grey Roots is going to have some things going on. I know that also there's March break camps going on with the Y, and there's like art camps, and it's awesome. I was trying to think of what I did during March break when I was growing up, and I'm pretty sure we just kind of hung around at home. I mean, there was 4 of us, right? So we kind of like took care of each other in a way, but you know, my mom was home, would make herself available, or we'd get a babysitter. And it being such a small town, there was one particular babysitter that looked after us fairly frequently, and I think she was probably one of the ones looking after us during our March breaks. And she's now a teacher at Alexandra. Oh, wow. And I've done interviews with her and been like, so, do you remember when you used to babysit me? And she's like, oh, yeah. I don't know that she has cherished memories of looking after myself and my 3 chaotic siblings. It's pretty funny, though. It's like, you know you're from a small town when. But anyway, yeah. What about you, March break? What was that like for you when you were a kid? Do you remember?
I'm trying to remember, and I'm trying to remember if there was much in terms of programming that we could go and access. I remember once we reached that age where we could kind of get ourselves around and we know we could walk to the rink, we were old enough. I do remember being at the rink almost every day playing like pickup hockey, because they opened up the ice, and I think it was, you take your $2 and you go down and you get to play for an hour. So that was something that we did anyway.
And it was a $2 bill?
It was it was still a $2 bill. The toonies weren't out, or you had 2 loonies if your dad gave you those for your allowance early.
Or 2 $1 bills.
Yeah. No,
we're aging ourselves.
That was earlier for the ones, but yeah, no, I think it was a lot different though. And I grew up in a different town. I grew up in Smiths Falls, which is a small town, not unlike Owen Sound, but compared to, and I don't know if it was the same, but I don't think there was as much available programming, like sponsored by like the city, where groups would go out of their way to be like, we're going to make sure that kids have something to do. I don't think there was a lot of that when we were kids.
Not as much, certainly, as there is now. There's a lot of opportunity. I mean, we had skating too. I remember going to the Coliseum, which doesn't exist anymore. It was demoed, and they've now since built the Julie MacArthur Regional Rec Center at that site. But I do remember going there and skating and freezing. It was the coldest arena in the whole area. Or we'd go out to Katy and we'd skate out there, or out in Chatsworth. Again, the arena doesn't exist there anymore, but I used to skate there. And again, it was another cold arena. So we did a lot of that as well during March break. But we're definitely lucky to live in an area where there's so much focus on activities, making things available. And And I also wanted to mention this past Saturday, speaking of programming being available, Grace, which is a therapeutic riding program, they were the beneficiaries of a number of fundraisers on Saturday night at the Owen Sound Attack game. It was the Goals for Grace. And thank you to those who contributed to the Chuck-a-Puck, the Bucket Pass, the silent auction, and who bid on the jerseys, the Goals for Grace jerseys that were created especially. It's always great to see that kind of support. So appreciate everybody being there.
Yeah, it's just awesome when you see everybody get out at those games, and they're more than happy to plunk down a bunch of money for a bunch of pucks or for the 50-50 or even those jerseys online.
Yeah.
It's amazing. The last jersey game we had was only about a month ago, the Black History Month game with the jerseys designed by Taos Jordan. And I'm seeing those jerseys everywhere in the stands. And I know you people all paid at least, because the starting bid on them and all proceeds go to the charity, is $150. And I see so many of them. I just wanted to give them a high five. Good for you for supporting the team and supporting the charity.
I agree with you. You see them being worn around the arena at the games, and you know that these folks paid pretty top dollar for these jerseys, but it was all for a great cause. So I think they should do that at an Attack game. They should say, if you're wearing a jersey that was purchased, stand up, and we should clap for them, because
new in stands contest.
Maybe
jersey appreciation. If you're wearing a charity jersey, we have a prize for you.
There you go.
You do that for the season ticket guys. I think you still do it for the designated driver. Is that still a thing? Not this season. No.
They don't do the home safe champion anymore. But exciting news for my family, just quickly before we move on. My sister had a baby. I know. My younger sister had her first baby last week on Tuesday. She was born at 6:16 a.m. in a hospital in Toronto, and 6 pounds, 4.5 ounces. I don't know a lot about the birth because I didn't ask, because I don't want to know.
There are details you don't need to know.
I don't. I have never had children. I don't need to know the ins and outs. So that's all I know.
Okay.
6 pounds. Lily Jean is her name, and she's got a full head of hair, and I'm very excited, looking forward to meeting her.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations to Kristen and Pablo. Also can't wait to see pictures. I know they'll be out soon, but that's great for another little Carmichael in the world.
We need any more.
Right. Well, stay tuned. We've got a busy episode of Great County Life. First up, Jen Wright from the City of Owen Sound is going to be here, and we're going to talk about nominations for the Art, Culture, and Volunteer Awards. Stay tuned.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Hello, I'm Liz Dowdswell, Lieutenant Governor of Ontario. In 2008, carbon monoxide, a deadly invisible gas, killed an entire family in our province. That tragedy led to a new law requiring homes with potential CO sources to have alarms. John Gignac's family members passed away that day, and he shares his story to save others.
Please make sure you have working CO alarms in your home. Protect your family today.
Today, I helped a senior find transportation to an important medical appointment.
Today, I helped a new mom find virtual programming so she didn't feel so isolated.
Today, I helped someone understand new government supports.
Every day, 211 navigators connect Canadians to critical government and community programs and services.
211. Help starts here.
Hi, I'm Tiffany James, the host of Her Story. Join us on Rogers TV as I interview various women in our community on how they found success in their own way.
Joining us in studio from the City of Owen Sound, we have Jen Wright to talk about the Volunteer and Cultural Awards. Now, I know that this is a bit time sensitive because the nomination deadline is looming.
It is.
Yeah, so that's March 14th.
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about the awards. Like, what are they? What are they sort of like highlighting in the community?
So for sure. So a little bit of history with it. The volunteer awards have always been kept separate and on a different date. They've always been awarded in front of mayor and council. And the Arts and Culture Awards are on another date. So what we thought this year is, it's always a great opportunity for people and peers and family to have the opportunity to come out to watch everybody who either gets nominated or winning. So we thought we would put them together. And so we've had a great response so far. The event will be open to the public, and anybody can join in. And yeah, we're excited about it.
Now, as far as the awards themselves, I assume there's different categories that people can be nominated for.
So there's so for the volunteer awards, there's a Volunteer of the Year award, there's a Senior of the Year award, and there is a Youth of the Year award.
And what's the criteria? If you're thinking about nominating someone to be a volunteer, just doing like 20 hours in a year enough, or is there a certain amount of work that needs to be done for that person to meet that certain criteria?
Exactly. So one of the criteria is they do need to live in Owen Sound and do their volunteering in Owen Sound primarily. There's a few that in the past have won and had a little bit of involvement outside of the community, but the idea is that they're involved in the community. There isn't really a set amount of hours. It's more about the contributions that the person has made. So for an example, like a Senior of the Year award might be, a senior who has made a significant impact in their community. They've been volunteering for 2 or 3 different organizations. And again, it's not about the time, it's kind of about the quality. And there's an opportunity for the person who is nominating that nominee to be able to explain that in a paragraph on the online system.
Perfect.
So yeah, makes it easy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we definitely have so many outstanding volunteers. I mean, you go to different events, like ones that you yourself will put on, and you see a lot of familiar faces because there's ones that, there's certain people that seem to be at everything. So it's really nice to have these awards in place to, to give credit where credit is due. Now, that's the thing with these volunteers is the majority of them don't do it for the credit, right? They do it because they enjoy it, but being able to give them that recognition is really special, and I bet they especially appreciate the awards.
Oh, exactly. And I've heard so many stories even about youth and their reasons. I always ask them, why are you getting involved? Sometimes it's about getting their community service hours for school, but there's others who want that to have on their resume. They're going into teaching, or they're going into university or college, and they need to have those volunteer hours on their applications. And then there's the ones that are just like, that's just who they are, and part of their whole true being is they love to volunteer and they love to give back. I even had a student volunteer come last summer because my grandma volunteers. My grandma's always helping out, so I figured that was a good thing for me to do.
I love that.
Yeah.
And you get a lot out of the volunteering. I mean, I remember in high school, but this is before you had to have hours as part of your diploma, but I volunteered at the hospital one summer. I actually set a record for the amount of volunteer hours. This was when I was like 16.
Were you candy striping?
I was kind of. I was working up in the day surgery unit.
Oh, yeah.
So I would like greet people when they came in. I would like take them to their little area, and then the nurses would assist from there. I was more or less like a tour guide, like, okay, you're going to be in here. And then when they came back from recovery, I would make them toast and coffee and just like sit with them until their family got there and like, chit chat. And I loved it. Like I was there all the time because I just got so much out of it. And I still talk to some of the nurses that were there when I was there as a volunteer 25 years ago.
Oh my word.
So it can be really beneficial for not just, who's receiving the benefits of your hours, but also the person putting in the hours. It can really make a big difference. So I love that, as I said, these awards are put in place. But as far as the Arts and Culture Awards go, what sort of categories are we looking at for that?
So we have a few different categories for that one, and I'm going to read them off because there's several. So we have the Emerging Artist. So that could be a musician or a performer. It's usually somebody under the age of 21 that gets that award. And that one comes with actually a $500 bursary or an award. We have outstanding group, outstanding individual, and an outstanding event. Then promising new event. So that could be, a new event that might have been struck after COVID that has kind of made an impact on the community. We've got the cultural catalyst, cultural heritage, and then we also have a special award that's given as a lifetime achievement. So some pretty prestigious awards. And it's always interesting to see how and when those entries come in to our online system. In the past, we've had it into a long format. You had to put a lot of work and effort into, sending in photocopies of pictures or artwork, and now we've tried to streamline the process so that the nominees, it's a little bit easier, but there's still a lot of information that we do have to gather. Obviously, we want to make sure we're awarding the right people the awards correct.
And while you were talking about the awards there, we were showing images of last year's winners. And just curious, any stories from last year's winners, any that stood out to you as being pretty significant or pretty impactful?
I would have to say probably I look at, Paige Warner, we talked about her earlier. She was the winner of our Emerging Artist Award. And, she had just newly moved back to Owen Sound. She was trying to get integrated back into the music scene and doing performances. She was kind of a little bit bashful, and she won that award. And then I saw kind of her career starting to take off. She's releasing some music. She's been playing at the Heartwood. We've had her involved in some of our events, and now she's performing in Toronto. So it kind of gave her that bit of a jump start to help. I think having those accolades behind you too, when you're applying for different venues or performance opportunities, to have those awards behind you, people say, oh wow, she won that Emerging Artist, we need to have her, right? So I saw her career grow after that, and she's now on our committee, so she's helping out with this year's nomination process. So that's pretty cool to see her come back and want to help.
Right, and even the confidence boost it gave her.
Oh, for sure.
Right? That definitely gave her just even that much more, reassurance that she was talented and all that stuff, so that she's more inclined to reach out to these larger venues and bigger festivals to look for a spot. So that's really cool. Yeah,
it is nice to see. And, she's doing fairly well, and I see her shows popping up all the time, so it's wonderful to see.
I'll just say too, I mean, it's wonderful to see how much support there is for the local music here. And I know we talked about it a little bit before the interview, but it's just if you are a musician in Owen Sound, one of the ways you get better is you have audiences to play in front of. And there's just so many opportunities between the Harbor Nights and down at the Farmers Market and just all the little events that happen throughout the calendar year. If you're a musician and you need an audience, the city can help you find one.
Yep, we have our call to performers out right now. It's open till March the 1st, but we always have a few stragglers that come in every year. I have about 141 performer applications for probably half of those, maybe less than half, spots between the Waterfront Festival, Canada Day, our Music at the Market that's kind of taking a bit of a switch to midweek music this year, and then Harbor Nights. And then, there's spots at the Hottest Yard Sale that we have performers, so we try to work with them just to make sure we give everybody the opportunity to be able to play.
It's incredible. Let's talk about when all of the nominations come in, who is seeing the nominations? Is there a jury that's going to sit there and deliberate and go, okay, we've got this one here, we've got this one here?
Exactly.
Okay.
So we pull from past winners and past nominees each year. We have a committee of about 8 this year, and so when all of those nominations come in, the committee receives those nominations. They have 5 or 6 days to mull over them. We then meet and we go through, we have a criteria selection, like a worksheet that we go by, and it's all done by points and done by the nominees' information when they send it in to us. And we go through them one by one and we score them. And then that's how we come up with our winners.
Wow. So it's a very complicated process.
It's an intense process, but it's good to be able to work through that. And that when you've won one of those awards, there's a reason for it, right? They're not just being handed out. They're being handed out to the right people for the right reasons.
Yeah, it's not like a popularity contest. Like you're getting judged on your merits
Exactly, exactly. So if somebody wants to nominate in any of those categories, all they have to do is go to owensound.ca/awards. All of the information's there, all of the criteria, the online form is available, and it's an easy process. And then we hope that people come out on the events on Sunday, April 14th at the Tom Thompson between 2 and 4. And we're going to have some entertainment, and we're going to have a few performers. We've got some violinists coming from the Georgian Bay Symphony and some Youth Discoveries performers, and hopefully some performers from the Youth Theatre from the Roxy.
Oh.
Yeah, as part of it. We always try to have a little bit of a entertainment value there as well.
Right, and it's free to go to the
awards?
awards?
It's free to go, open to all. We've got, we'll have some eats and treats, coffee and tea. The Tom will have their bar open, so yeah, be an exciting couple hours.
All right, and obviously keeping it free is a great thing to do, but sometimes sponsorship is needed to help with that. Are there any sponsors we need to thank for this year's Volunteer
for sure.
Awards?
We've got GSS Engineering, Capes Engineering. Kevin from Capes actually sits on our nominee. He was a past winner of an emerging artist, so you can see kind of that relationship, right? They know how important it is. Flato has come forward this year as well, and we've also got Zares, who does all of the food for us for the day. So it's exciting to have, it's important to have the sponsorship for sure.
All right. Obviously, we've been talking a lot about the Volunteer Awards. They're going to be coming up. Nomination deadline coming up, of course, on March 14th at 5 p.m.
Yep.
What else is the city working on? Because we've got March break coming up. We've got Easter coming up. You guys must be very busy right now.
It is super busy. Home and Cottage Expo, May 11th and 12th. We got our deadline for that coming up as well. So if you're a vendor, we have, I think, one marketplace vendor space left in the upper concourse, and then we've got about 20 booths left on the main level. So
that's it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's going to be packed house this year. Super excited. We've also got the climate action team coming, and the entire front lobby this year is going to all focus on climate action and green energy. We're still looking for another couple vendors up front in the lobby as well, and a few more outside. So I'm super excited. This will be my first time doing the Home and Cottage Expo in Owen Sound because it hasn't happened since 2019 before COVID, right?
Yeah.
Or as COVID hit. So yeah, we're super excited. Got lots going on for summer. Our Music at the Market is switching over to a midweek music process. So we're going to be doing Wednesdays, and we're going to pull her right through from June till September instead of just focusing on the summer months. And it'll be from 4 to 6, and it's going to move around. So I've got some cool locations. You're going to be interested to bring the dog.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I do.
So
yeah,
I know you frequent our events with your pup, which is cool. But we're gonna move it around, and we're gonna have some single soloists, duos, trios, and bands. Bands will be in the bigger locations, so people can come and bring their lawn chairs still. We're really trying to activate also the River District, so there'll be some pop-ups that happen there. And then music at Harbor Nights on Sunday nights throughout the summer. So excited to get back going. And
yeah, that one's a popular one.
Oh yeah, we get so many people. I love it. It's one of my favorites.
And it's wild. I've gone down there with my dog. As you say, I live in the neighborhood of the harbor, so I will often walk my dog along there. And like Harbor Nights would start at like 7 o'clock.
Yep.
And I'd be walking my dog at like 5:30, and people would already be there setting up their lawn chairs because they want to make sure they get a good spot.
Yep.
And I was impressed every time, because I'm like, your commitment to this is admirable. So, but it always, and then yes, I would bring my dog down, and we would get to enjoy some of the music too. Or people would bring their boats.
Yeah, wasn't that nice?
People were bringing their boats into the harbor.
We had 7 boats, all kind of tethered out, and then kayakers and paddleboards, all depending on the weather, right? So,
yeah.
And then also over on the other side, on the outside of the harbor wall, just in behind Mudtown, you'd see people all lined up because it just echoes across the harbor, which is really cool. Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
Yeah, we're lucky to have that. We're lucky to have you organizing that, because it's a big draw for a lot of people, for sure.
Of all the things that you're a part of with the City of Owen Sound, what's kind of one of your favorite things to work on? What's one of kind of your favorite projects every year?
That's like asking her to pick her favorite child.
I guess it's kind of a little bit like that. I'm sorry now that I was thinking about it.
Which daughter's your favorite?
I know, which is my favorite. I'm not going to say that one out loud now. Yeah, I love the music scene. Like, I love that piece of it. I would have to say probably Harbor Nights, and then I also love our New Year's Eve. Like, I love our New Year's Eve celebration at the Y. We see so many families come out on that date with their kids and their families, and that's kind of one of the things you don't see necessarily at Harbor Nights. It's a different clientele, right? So just seeing the kids out, and then of course Canada Day is always fabulous at Kelso Beach. I love the fireworks and all the activities that go with it. So excited to be. Just need the weather, right?
Yeah, that's the big thing is that you want the weather to cooperate. Though, you know, with TD Harbor Nights and such, like you make accommodations. Like you've had it at the Georgian Bay Center for the Arts or at the Legion. You know, you try to still, the show must go on, right? You just change venue. And you try to make it work regardless.
Figure it out.
Absolutely.
And people are waiting to hear about it on the radio if it's canceled, like, or they're emailing me, has it been canceled? It's raining right now. It's 4 o'clock. I'm like, so between Gary Byers and I, we both have different weather apps on our phones that we keep a pretty good idea on the day. And at 8 o'clock in the morning on Sundays, we're always chatting, what's the weather looking like today? We just want to make sure people are safe, right?
Yeah.
The show must go on.
Absolutely. So the Volunteer Cultural Award nominations are due March 14th. And you said the website, owensound.ca/awards.
Awards, yeah.
Now, how long would it take someone to fill out the nomination, do you figure? Like
8-10 minutes. Tops.
Okay.
Yep.
So I'm just kind of, just give people an idea of before they sit down, right?
Yeah, so like if you're thinking of something as you sit here, go home tonight and go fill one out. Because what a better way to recognize all the hard work that our volunteers in our community does, and the service groups putting together events, integral partners that they have, just having that opportunity. Let's do a big shout out to them and say thanks. This is a great way.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of people I know right now. Like I've got like the wheels turning.
Turn those wheels.
If you were to nominate somebody and you wanted to yourself as the nominator remain anonymous, you didn't want the person to know, would they find out they got nominated though, at least that there was a nomination made in their
if
name?
They've included their email address, but there is an option for them to be anonymous in the process, but we certainly would connect with them to let them know.
Okay.
Amazing.
Yep.
All right. Well, it's
hey, you could even nominate yourself. We would never know.
That's true.
I know, right?
That's true. And I mean, sometimes when you want a job done, you got to do it yourself.
That's exactly right. There you go.
Or if you want it done right.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Well, Jen, thank you so much for coming in today to talk to us about the Art and Culture and Volunteer Awards. Of course, the nomination deadline, again, coming up Thursday, March 14th, 5 p.m., City of Owen Sound website. We'll have all the details. We've put the poster up a few times, but looking forward to seeing all the nominations, looking forward to the big party coming up at the Tom Thompson on April 14th from 2 to 4 p.m. Jen Wright, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Always a pleasure.
Stay tuned. We've got more coming up. Well, we're going to learn more about the Bruce County Museum and what they've got planned for March break on Grey County Life.
I was like,
Long way from Nashville and Mama, I'll tell you that. Performed from Montreal to Boston to Los Angeles. But Toronto, that's my chosen home. Sure, when I'm walking down Yonge Street, I see some funny people who have the nerve to point the finger at me. And grin and smile and whisper. My song was #2 on local radio. Sold 10,000 in Toronto alone. Turned down Ed Sullivan because they asked me to remove my makeup. Wouldn't do American Bandstand because of their segregation policies. I was just being me. Never tried to explain myself to anyone. And besides, none of that to worry, Jackie, because I know I look good. Got a new way of loving, baby. Thought I want to teach it to you.
Jackie Shane was a pioneer transgender soul singer, a central figure in the Toronto R&B scene. She helped shape what we know as the Toronto sound.
Public transit, garbage pickup, parks and recreation programs, snow removal on your street. How can you stay informed about these and other important local services? Tune to City Council coverage on Rogers TV. See your community leaders at work on Rogers TV City Council coverage.
Welcome back to Grey County Life. The Bruce Museum and Cultural Center in Southampton is getting ready for March break. They also have some exciting new exhibits and some new incoming exhibits as well. To learn more about it, we are joined now by Layla Top, Marketing Coordinator of the Bruce Museum, and also Evan Vatry, who is the Programming Coordinator at the museum. Thanks for being here today, guys.
Thanks so much for having us.
You must be very excited and maybe a little bit stressful for March break, trying to get all the programming ready.
Well, yes, March break is obviously one of our busy times of the year. It's essentially where we jam-pack almost a 2 months worth of programs into a single week. We have a variety of things coming up during March break. We have, of course, magic shows. We have science shows. We have a variety of performers coming in as well. And we also even have medieval nights. So again, herding all those cats, very interesting, but well worth it for March break.
All right. Now, if people are thinking about sending their kids to the museum, is there like sign up every day, or can you sign up for the entire week and just send them for full day programming? Is that how it works?
Yeah, that's right. So if you'd like to pre-register, brucemuseum.ca is the spot for that online. You can also give us a call at 797-2080, and our front desk staff will be happy to help.
All right. So there's an option to send them for the entire week and have you guys take care of the babysitting.
Well, from my end, in pieces, we do about 1 hour shows a piece, and then some activities to follow. But yeah, it's going to be very busy at the museum, and we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, and you've got I know on the Saturday before, you've got a movie. You're going to be showing Dead Poets Society. That's
right.
Correct.
I know. Oh, Captain, my captain, right?
I know. I always like to throw in a vintage movie.
Right.
It's a good opportunity for parents to bring their kids to see a film that potentially they grew up with. So it's a nice use of our theater space for sure.
Awesome.
And movies at the museum is a regular thing.
Yes. Well, of course, like Port Elgin, we had a theater until quite recently, and now as a result, the museum's hoping to step in as a good opportunity for the community to use our space as almost the de facto movie theater of the area.
Wow, good idea.
Yeah. I don't think I've been to the theater specifically at the Bruce Museum. Is it a big, almost like traditional movie theater? Seats, big screen?
Oh yes, quintessentially a movie theater. It has 108 seats, standard theater seating, and we even do have a stage. So we do a variety of performances from, of course, filmed performances, movies, and then we also have performers and presenters coming in quite frequently. It's one of the most commonly used spaces for programming.
That's incredible. I know too that it's not just March break that the Bruce Museum caters to kids specifically. Yeah. There's preschool programming that happens throughout the year. I mentioned a lot on my radio show about Museum Munchkins as a great option for people to take them. It's usually on, I think, every other Wednesday. Is that correct?
Yeah. So Museum Munchkins, we have a whole education coordinator who handles that, and it's one of our mainstays for young children's programming. Generally, that caters to kids from literally a few months old to about 3 years of age, and they do fun activities. Great opportunity for parents to take out their kids and get some socialization in it without going too far.
All right. How do you sign the preschoolers up for Museum Munchkins? What's the best way to do that?
So again, if you're online, brucemuseum.ca is the spot for that. Or if you'd like to call us directly, we've got 797-2080, and our front desk staff can assist.
Now, for anybody who's not familiar with the area, where are you located? Where is the Bruce County Museum?
Yeah, so we're at 33 Victoria Street North, right in Southampton, just down one of the side streets by G.C. Houston Public School. And again, we kind of try to offer programming for all ages, and that's in addition to some of the exhibits that we put on quarterly. So right now, we've got our 2 fiber art focused exhibits for those who are into art. The first one, Thread of the Story, focuses on artifacts that have not just their own single story, but 2 other stories. So that's the story of the staff who've selected pieces out of our collection, and then the story of the artist who was inspired by the piece and translated that into fiber. So that exhibit's on currently now till April 30th. And then we have our Whisper project, again, fiber focus, but it plays on the childhood game, the telephone game.
I was terrible at that. I had terrible hearing. I was horrible at that. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is a unique take on that.
Right.
One photo inspires several different iterations of fiber artwork, and there's 5 different photos in total and a series of fiber art pieces that have come out of that. So it's super unique for anybody interested in art. It's a great chance to come out and see.
We're just showing on the screen some of the photos that you sent, Layla, of this current exhibit, the Whisper Project. And it does look incredible to see some of this and to see the stories that are posted next to them.
Just super intricate detail, and when you're there and you're up close, it's wild. Yeah, very cool.
And how long is the Whisper Project on for?
So both exhibits, the Whisper Project and Thread of the Story, are on until April 30th.
Okay. And then obviously new exhibits will come in and eventually take their place. What's coming this summer once those exhibits are gone?
Yeah, so we just recently launched a host of events through to end of June. And within that, we've got 2 exhibits that are coming up. One called True or False, and it's sort of this all ages, family-focused take on very interactive, where you're presented with facts, and it's up to you to decide whether they're true or false. So very interactive, very hands-on. That's coming up opening May 16th. And then we've got Brush Strokes, so another art-focused exhibit, and it's a play on sort of light and shadow, and it's put on by Bruce Peninsula Society of Artists.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so those will both be coming this summer. Of course, details will be on the website as well for both of those exhibits that are coming up. Yeah. We've talked a little bit about March break. Is the museum doing anything for Easter? That's another big holiday coming up.
Yeah, we do have our Easter eggs event geared towards a bit of a younger age. It is sold out.
It's already sold out.
It is already sold out
Wow.
in very high demand.
Good problem to have.
Yes.
That's right.
That's incredible.
But we have a bunch of other spring programs coming up as well. So we also have our Breaking Out of Bruce seniors trip. So generally every year we like to do a seniors bus trip. This year, again, we're going to Stratford. We're seeing Something's Rotten. So again, very fun. That's April 25th. And again, I would say get your tickets quick, because I always say it's like the deal of the summer, deal of the spring. We're able to, have it sort of like an approachable price point on it. But also at the same time, it's a lot of fun, and they do sell out very quickly. So if they're interested in that, they can check out our museum webpage, right?
That's right.
Amazing. I love that. That's a great get them out. And you said it's more geared to the senior population?
55 plus.
Okay.
So it's sort of like a nice time for anyone who, again, likes to sort of explore the local area but are maybe a little apprehensive on driving. We take care of that for them.
I love that. I love that. Well, I'm a big fan of Stratford. My aunt is actually, or was, I should say, a stage manager at Stratford Festival. So for many years I would go down and we would go see any of the plays that she was working on. So I have very near and dear to my heart Stratford memories. So I think that's really great. Now, just a little bit more detail about March break activities specifically, just because there is such a variety. Now, as far as the magician show, because as I was sharing with you before we started recording, I'm a big fan of magic. So tell us a little bit about what Steve Baker's magic show is like.
Okay, so again, we've worked with Steve for a long time now, ever since I came to the museum. He's a great guy. He specializes in up-close magic, traditional magic, but also he does really well with the kids in the way that he does like a teach-a-trick sort of magic show where he will actually impart some knowledge onto the audience, and he's very good with using the kids as demonstrators and stuff like that. So Steve's a lot of fun, and we're happy to have him back.
And there's a reptile show.
Oh, of course. Yes. Reptile, animal shows, anything with feathers, fur, always does very well. So we always feature an animal show. This one is hands-on as well. So you'll be able to even, if you're feeling brave, you can touch a python. Who knows?
No, thank you.
Oh, no.
Definitely no thank you from him.
No. Yeah, not a big fan of the reptiles.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, this is just like, there was hairless rats. He wouldn't touch them.
Oh, yeah.
I think there is a photo of me holding one.
It took a lot of convincing.
It took a lot of time.
And it was like a 2-second hold. You were like, nah.
For me, it was always the African millipede. I mean, it has like 1,000 legs, and it will,
gross.
You
it
left
will
that
like
on your
crawl
arm?
up your arm, and it'll nibble on your dead skin. It
No!
exfoliates. Technically,
No!
it does exfoliate. But
Sounds
that
lovely.
took me a bit.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with reptiles. But the creepy crawlies, I draw the hard line.
Well, I'm uncomfortable now.
It's like, I'm not going.
Anything else happening on March break that doesn't involve creepy crawlers?
March 16th, we're also featuring a book launch for a local Indigenous artist named Dorothy Ladd. She just finished publishing her accompaniment book to her most recent publication last year. So again, a lovely opportunity to engage with local Indigenous culture. Also as well, we are featuring a wide variety of activities. Of course, I mentioned our Nights show, so we're being joined with local historical reenactors.
I didn't know that existed.
You know, there's a lot of surprises in Bruce County.
I'm from here, and I didn't know we had reenactors. I didn't know.
Oh yeah, and they're great. And they'll be setting up stations and also doing like historic combat demonstrations in our exhibit hall, which is super cool.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, that is so cool. Now, as far as admission, getting into these events, as pre-registration?
Pre-registration is heavily encouraged.
Heavily encouraged, and then regular admission applies unless you're a museum member, in which case it is all included. Now, tell us about becoming a museum member. What are the benefits?
Sure.
What is sort of the process of that?
Sure. So, I mean, as we're talking, it's, you know, a lot of our events are members free. So you'll have that as museums with your Bruce County membership. So that includes Grey County Museum. Sometimes we have special advanced opportunities for pre-registration that will go to members. They'll also receive our e-newsletter weekly that'll keep you sort of up to date on things, all things museum related.
So there's lots of benefits.
Lots of benefits. You know, as a member, oftentimes we're doing pre-registration for kids camps. Those come up throughout the year, and oftentimes that's a really big perk of membership.
Yeah, because those I would imagine fill up really fast.
Oh, they do. They very fast.
People are like, take my children.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
And if people want to sign up for a membership, how much is that for a year?
Right. So, I mean, there's a range of membership options. So you could become a member for your entire family. There are student rates, there are senior rates, and all the details for that are at brucemuseum.ca.
Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely, if anything, if you've got a family and you've got kids at home, it's worth having that family membership based on the amount of programming you guys do. I've seen the events calendar. There's pretty much something every day, if not a few things every day. So kudos to you guys for keeping something going at the museum all the time.
That's right, and you know, even if you're a new member, if you're thinking of becoming a member, one extra thing that we have included in our March break programming for March 16th is actually a guided museum tour. Yes. So if it's your first time, or maybe you just have been and you don't think you've seen everything, or you know, we've got a guided tour that'll take you through in detail throughout the exhibits.
And we're also pulling out some of our most interesting pieces from our collection, and essentially there'll be like a show and tell deep dive period after. So we have like thousands of items in our collection that sometimes don't get to go out. Right. So this is an opportunity to bring out those items and actively talk about them and showcase them, right?
Neat. Well, one of the, I think, people that works there that deals with the collections is Sarah.
Yes.
McLeod?
Yes. Yep.
I know her from high school.
Yeah.
It's a small town, right?
I love Sarah.
But she's worked there for a little while, and from what I've seen and what I've heard, she really enjoys working at the museum. And I mean, I'll be honest, it's been a few years since I've been there. I don't have kids myself, so it's sort of like, not that I wouldn't just go, but you know, if you have kids, you have more of a reason / excuse to go, I guess.
But also we have tons of adult-themed programming as well. For example, we have our Muse Talk programs coming up, one on March 20th and the other one on April 27th. So the March 20th one, we're actually having a filmmaker and adventurer coming to the Bruce County Museum and Cultural Center, Ian Evans. He's currently in Antarctica right now, so I know. So he's showing his film.
No big deal.
No big deal. I don't think he'll see this, but I don't know what the cell reception's like in Antarctica. But anyway, so he's showing off his film and his travels, and it's a very interesting opportunity for people to meet a true adventurer to the South Pole, because you commonly don't find people who really go to Antarctica. So, and then April 27th, we're being joined with the discoverers of the Africa wreck. So that's a very cool story. That ship went down in Lake Huron, I believe 1895, and the entire crew was lost, and they recently just discovered it this year. They made a whole documentary about their discovery, and at the same time, like, they're giving us a sneak peek because their documentary is not out yet until September. So again, we'll be showcasing that. So very cool opportunity.
Wow, I didn't realize there was adult-specific programming.
Oh, 100%.
That's really
We also
cool.
do patio rosé, we do wine tastings, we do beer tastings, we do museum mixers. Also, we have a slew of Pride events coming up in June. We're doing the first drag show actually at the Bruce County Museum and Cultural Center, and that's June 8th, and that is going to be a drag brunch in Southampton. Come on.
That's going to sell out. Let's be
I
real.
know. Fingers crossed.
I think that's safe to say.
Yeah. Can I ask when the next beer event is that you mentioned?
It's going to be in the fall, so keep your eyes peeled in November.
All right. Well, certainly no end of great local brewing options in this area. It's incredible.
Yeah, and volunteers.
Oh yes, so honestly, we need our volunteers. Our volunteers are the lifeblood of our museum, and in a way, like, we can only deliver high quality programming because of the support that they give. So if you're interested in becoming a volunteer, we have a volunteer coordinator who will be more than happy to guide you through the process. We're always actively looking, and we cater to the talents of the volunteers that we have coming in. So if you are dead set on giving tours, we will make that happen. If you want to go work up in the archives, we will make that happen. Even if you want to work in the collections, we can make that happen. Again, it's a great opportunity to give back to your community, and we're also very flexible. So again, we don't
fun.
And fun again, and that's the most important thing, right?
Awesome. And like for volunteering, like students are welcome, people of all ages?
Yes, 100%. We have a whole junior volunteer program. So again, if any kids are looking to get their 40 hours, which is like a huge thing and a huge stressor, you can make that happen with us.
Yeah, in a fun environment where they can meet some new people, learn some new things.
Learn real skills, actually, which is amazing.
I love that.
Yeah. Is there anything else the museum needs? Volunteers are one thing. How you guys doing on funds these days? All good there? We're good. All right.
Always great. Always great.
But always willing to take donations.
Of course.
Always willing to take donations. And then as well, we're going to run our second annual speakers event this year. That will be a fundraiser. So last year we had, an event with CBC journalist Jesse Wente, who came and did a talk on his novel. This year will be a different speaker, but we expect that to happen sometime in October, and we're sort of asking people to stay tuned for early bird tickets, which should go on sale in the next couple of months.
All right. Well, there's a ton of information. We've learned a lot today about the Bruce Museum. They have so much going on. Obviously, the March break programming year-round for kids, programming for adults as well. BruceMuseum.ca is probably the best place to go to keep up to date on it all, and to get your membership as well. Layla and Evan, thank you both so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having us.
Stay tuned. We've got Renee coming up next, and we'll meet another animal looking for a forever home on Grey County Life.
I'm number 24, Tays Jordan.
And number 21, Harry Nancy.
Tune in to Attack Rap
on Rogers TV.
These days at your local Legion, we're marching to the beat of a different drum. On a mission to support veterans, to have fun, and to welcome everyone to our ranks. You don't have to be a veteran to join the Legion. And as a member, you'll join thousands of others serving our veterans, our communities, and our country. Oh yeah, and our Member Perks program will save you thousands on shopping, dining, products, and services across the country. Join us at legion.ca.
I'm Mayor Ian Boddy. If you want to understand the decisions being made about your community, please join us on Rogers TV Cable 53 on Mondays at 5:30 p.m. or online at rogerstv.com to watch the Owen Sound City Council. You can also read our agendas and reports or watch replays of meetings at owensound.ca. We hope you'll stay informed and we hope you'll tune in. Thanks.
Welcome back to Grey County Life. Renee from the Owen Sound Animal Shelter has joined us in studio, and she's brought puppies.
Puppies again.
Yep.
It gets less exciting for me as we go.
It's always exciting for us when you bring puppies.
I know, for me, I'm like, here I am again, more puppies. But I mean, we do love puppies. I gotta say, they're always fun. These two are here representing their entire litter. There is 2 of 4. The other 2 were just plain Jane blacks, so we went with the different ones. All 4 of them are males. All the females have gone. So we need to mention these are brothers. They are 7 weeks of age, and they came to the shelter with their mother. Mom stopped feeding them about 4 weeks of age, so we've had a little extra time with them and growing them, and we've had the opportunity to get them socialized and to get to know them a little better, which is nice. They've had their vaccines, they're deworming, they're defleeing. They're starting to learn to go to the bathroom outside. The leash training is a difficult thing at this point, but it's coming. I mean, in my defense, we have 4 of them. It's a lot harder with 4. They walk in bundles that way.
Yeah.
But it's coming, which is very nice. They have been around dogs and cats and bunnies and all sorts of people. They've had baths and car rides, and basically they're well on their way to being perfect little dogs. As for the breed, it's a little bit of a mystery. Their mother, good news, we have her, so we know what she is. She's a very small lab-style dog. Our best guess is lab border collie, so imagine size border collie, length of border collie, but the short coat, black in color. The 2 at the shelter that are males that are not here today look like that. So little labs, little baby labs.
Little mini labs.
In discussion with the previous owner, they in fact called her miniature lab. I don't know if this is a thing, but if it is, maybe she is, or maybe she's a lab border collie. These guys, however, I don't know. But we love those kinds because you get a really good mixture of great things usually, which is often what people are looking for and what we always encourage you to take. This one is falling asleep in my arms. Okay, you're getting heavy.
This one is giving me a bath.
Getting heavier by the second. Good thing you're only like 4 pounds. I could guess that perhaps there's some shepherd in there, some Australian shepherd, but again, I don't really know. They are not going to be big dogs. A few weeks back, we had like a Rottweiler mix. In comparison, at this age, was twice the size. So we can safely say it should be a 50-pound dog at most.
Cute.
But I'm not going to promise, so don't get mad if I'm wrong, but
if they end up like 90 pounds.
Yeah, exactly.
We
Not
don't
my
really
fault.
know
Not my
the
fault.
genetics fully.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure. We're pretty darn good at it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. We have started crate training, and we do, of course, lend out crates for somebody who needs to borrow one, which will make your life a little better with puppies, especially that pooping thing. It helps them control that.
Helps it keep
keeps it contained to a spot if necessary.
Yeah.
But of course, you don't have to do that depending on your time. The spring is coming. I need to remind people this will continue to be puppy season a little longer. So if this is not something that you want and you have something in particular, please don't hesitate to call me. We have others that are up and coming that we know a little bit about, so we can post you in the right direction or get you on a list, because as you know, we like to see them come in and go out.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody likes to see puppies in cages. It's sad,
No.
right? Nobody wants puppies in
Nobody
cages.
wants to pound puppies.
Here, can I
to
turn
be
you this
in
way?
the pound too long.
Okay, okay, okay. It's important, that first little piece of life, that they get socialized, and it's more challenging as they spend time with us, for sure.
Yeah.
Right?
They're
Right.
so cute.
You
They're
are-
so cute.
They
I'm
are
sorry, you
really,
said they're
really
about 7.5 weeks?
About 7.5 now.
Okay.
And again, they've already had their vaccines, which is nice, and they're deworming, which is good.
Do they have names?
They don't, but I know you want to.
I do love to name a dog.
Do it.
So the one that you have
Okay.
is Milo.
Hi, Milo. Nice to meet you.
And this is Marshall.
Milo and Marshall. Hi. You are Milo. Okay, okay.
Actually, one of the dogs I named recently,
Yes.
Maverick,
Yes.
was one of the red, what was they? Like
A Mastiff
Yeah, the
type,
Mastiff
yeah.
mix.
Okay. Oh, thank you.
He was adopted by a friend of mine and his wife and their kids, and they kept the name Maverick.
I love it.
Nice.
That I'd given
love
that
it.
dog.
I love it. I love it.
Do they owe you anything for that?
Yeah,
Like
it's a
quarter
free
for
service. It's a free service.
Yeah, all right.
You know what? We need like 1,000 names a year.
Yeah.
So like, if you want the job.
Yeah, just let me know. I'll come by. I'll decide
Amazing.
that that's Milo. But this
Amazing.
is Marshall.
We could have used you at the Grand Prairie Animal Shelter
Oh.
because just about every other female dog was Bella.
Yeah.
Or Luna.
Or Luna, yes.
Luna, Chloe,
At the time, I
Sophie.
think Twilight was big, so.
Yes. Oh, right.
Yeah.
Bella Swan.
You know what? We often, in coming up with names, a situation dictates the name.
Right.
For example, we could have Arrow, who had an arrow situation, or we could have
Lucky.
Lucky,
who'd been hit by a car and was totally fine.
Exactly. You know, so often I have strange names for them because it helps me remember their history, because the reality is people are going to call me in 10 years and be like, hey, remember that dog? And I mean, I don't.
Right.
But if we give them one of them quirky names, we get it. But everybody with just a regular, ordinary story, like this guy,
Yeah.
puppy number 6.
Yeah. Milo Marshall.
Puppy number 4.
So just be
Milo.
aware if Renee has
We
one
got it.
named Old Bitey.
Exactly. Oh,
Yeah,
righty.
yeah.
Avoid that one. We call those ones Snapper. Or Beware.
This kitty is abandoned alleyway.
Yes, exactly. We've had a few alleys. Yes, we have. We've had a few alleys. Tom tends to be popular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you definitely need to have a little bit of sense of humor in this business with all the things to say.
Absolutely.
You see, Renee. I do have a question for you because you mentioned it's puppy season.
It is.
I'm just curious, and I don't know if there's anything to this, but with the wacky weather fluctuations that we've had, is that affecting the dog and cat populations?
You are absolutely right. We're seeing a few different things. There's a few things that are actually affecting us. The weather is one of them. Heat cycles started earlier. We had an early spring. We knew it was spring. We didn't need the groundhog. We had animals coming into heat.
Yeah.
So yes, that is how influences also the population of animals in the world. Now that sounds odd, or locally, affects their heat cycles, how long those cycles last. Additionally, the amount of puppies they have. Now, oddly, we're seeing big litters right now, which I'm kind of like, oh darn. I feel like the population is doing that, but at the same time, we're seeing a lot more males.
Yeah.
Interestingly, like it's trying to control its own numbers. That part I support. We typically, though, do have puppies and kittens in spring and again in the fall. It started early, like this is only February as we talk spring, or, you know, it's early. So we find we're usually a month or two from now where we start seeing them, but it's now. I'm hoping that means we're in for some decent weather real soon, but at the same time, I'm cautious because I'm like, oh man, I hope we don't have another litter, because that also happens, right? So please keep an eye on your pets and please get them fixed.
Yes, it is an expensive thing, but it is a very important thing.
It is super important. I mean, and I speak on behalf of all shelters. I mean, we're all busting at the seams right now. We really are.
Yeah. Well, if you're interested in meeting Marshall and Milo and their two brothers that are also at the shelter,
We're gonna need to name them now.
you can give Renee a call at 519-372-1123. Also, always a great idea to follow the Owen Sound Animal Shelter on Facebook. Thank you so much, Renee, and thank you for joining us on Grey County Life.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com.
I still remember the games, the laughter, the footsteps through the hallway. I'll never forget the hard times.
Every day I come back from work, it's always like this. We're yelling in front of the kids.
The help we needed. How far we've come.
Everybody knows not to drink and drive, but some people still think it's okay to take drugs and drive. Police have the authority, the ability, and the tools to determine if drivers are impaired by legal or illegal drugs. And because drug-impaired drivers can pose just as great a risk as drunk drivers, they